Have you ever saved all year for that one family vacation and ended up stressed out about every single dollar?
Not anymore. Hi, I'm Mary Ellen.
And I'm Jo. We're two busy moms who have cracked the code on travel with points and miles.
We're here to show you how we turn everyday expenses into extraordinary vacations.
This is Wonderland on Points, where we share tips and tricks to help you earn free and deeply discounted travel.
Let the adventure begin. Hey guys, before we start our episode for today, we want to remind you that you can still enter our 200th episode giveaway until April 1st at 11:59 p.m.
We have so many amazing prizes for you guys. We have a $200 Halara shopping spree. We have a lifetime Card Pointers membership, a Tobic duffel, an airplane mode comfort hoodie, and 2 Have Points Will Travel t-shirts from our great friend over at Ozark Points. And so we will have 6 winners. Make sure you head to the Google form and fill everything out. The link is in the show notes. So make sure you get your entry in before it closes on April 1st. At the time you're hearing this, if you're listening to it when it comes out on Monday, that gives you 3 more days to enter. Additionally, we do have discount codes for these partners listed in the show notes below. So if you want to go ahead and take advantage of the discounts as well as entering for the giveaway, you know where to find those. And now we're going to get rolling on today's episode.
It's time to head to Arizona, everybody. Welcome back to Wonderland on Point, presented by Yahoo Travel. We are so excited to welcome back a fellow podcaster and return guest to tell us all about her family's trip to Arizona, to the Grand Canyon, to Antelope Canyon, and the Grand Hyatt Scottsdale. We are going to get into it. Kelsey, welcome back.
Thank you, ladies. I'm so happy to be back. I just love your podcast. I love listening in. I've learned so much from you guys, so I'm excited to report back on this trip.
We are so excited to have you here. And when I was thinking back to how long it's actually been, it's weird. In my head, it wasn't very long ago, but you were on the podcast like almost 2 years ago.
That's insane. That does not seem right.
What is time? I don't know. I will link the old episode for everybody. We had a great episode about Asheville, North Carolina, and it was awesome. Back then, I feel like you were just getting your toes wet with the points and miles stuff, like really just starting to learn. And I feel like you've gone kind of head first into it now. Do you feel like that as well? You feel like you've come far?
Yes, I am proud to report that I have come a long way. I'm not as expert level as you ladies, but thankfully I'm no longer just looking into bank travel portals to book my hotels, because that's where I was when I was first on. For like a super high level rundown, we currently hold 2 Southwest companion passes. I've become a pro at transferring Chase Ultimate Rewards points to Hyatt. I'm using Rakuten, which I originally had linked to Amex and now have linked to Bilt. I signed up for
You're getting there.
Amex Gold, and I recently got a sign-up offer for a Capital One Venture X. Mary Ellen, I believe I might have used your link, so hopefully you saw some points for that. And I'm planning on visiting my first lounge, Capital One Lounge at JFK this summer when my husband and I go to Paris. So I feel like I've made a lot of progress in 2 years.
You literally have. This is all big stuff. This is beginner level. 2 companion passes and using the Rakuten to Bilt strategy. I am impressed. I'm impressed.
Thank you. And those Bilt points are racking up. And I know something's about to change. And I'm like watching you guys and making sure that if I need to switch it back, I do. But for that first 6 months or whatever, like I haven't really been thinking about it or doing much, and I have 20K points in there. I was just like, oh, I checked it the other day and thought, wow, that's kind of a lot of points for just like shopping.
Yeah, that's the magic of it. That's the magic of it. Even without trying very hard, you're racking up points. And if you want to get psychotic the way that we are, you're earning 100,000 points in a year. And so it's like however you want to play the game, you can.
Kelsey is the host of the Trip Tales podcast, guys. You've heard us mention Trip Tales before on our podcast. She has another fantastic travel podcast, so go check it out add it to your rotation of podcasts that you're listening to while you're commuting, while you're doing laundry, all the things. And today you're going to share a trip with us that your family went on. Go ahead, but as we set it up, this trip to Arizona, what time of year did you guys go to enjoy this? Because there's a lot of variation when you're visiting the Grand Canyon. If you go in December, January compared to the summer. So timing really matters for this one.
Yes. And I have to say, here in Nashville, Tennessee, where I live, we have this super lucky situation where we get out of school in May before Labor Day. And it has become the
Beautiful.
most perfect time to take a family summer trip because the weather's beautiful in most places in the country. It has not hit that travel spike yet. No matter where we've gone, it feels like, this isn't crazy yet. And it does feel a little like you're out of school, we're getting on a plane, but it's worth it for us. So we went that last week of May, like over Memorial Day. I think it was May 27th to like we flew home on June 1st. So we really got some beautiful weather. It was a little chilly in the morning. You know how the desert can be chilly in the morning and
Yes.
then warm in the afternoon and then back to chilly in the evening. And the crowds were not that bad at all. So I know that's not everybody's, everybody doesn't have that option. But if you do, that is a perfect time to go that last week of May.
Yeah, I asked that question because my family actually went to Zion National Park and did some of the Utah parks that same week at the very end of May one year, and it was perfection. Like you said, shoulder season, so great. The time that I went to the Grand Canyon was late December, like the week of New Year's Eve. I went to
That
Arizona
feels
for
chilly.
a football
It's open?
game. Well, kind of. So it was open, but
Can
we
you see
drove
anything?
from Phoenix the several hours up to the Grand Canyon, and it was complete. There was snow everywhere. A blizzard had come through, and the canyon itself was completely fogged in. We didn't see a thing. There was no hiking that you could do. So it was, we wanted to do it. We went for it regardless just to say we could go, but then we didn't see anything at all. So it seems like winter could be a little hit or miss with whether you actually get the beautiful view of the Grand Canyon.
And maybe you'll just have to go back. But that is one of the things about travel too, where it's like you could have gotten a sunshiny winter day and it
Yeah,
could have been gorgeous. So
right.
you just never know at these national parks if the weather's going to be perfect. But May seemed like our whole trip was beautiful. So that did seem like a nice time to go.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Let's talk a little about how you got there. I mean, you have 2 companion passes, as we've learned. So is that the way that you got there? Did you find any good sweet spots? What were the redemptions like from Nashville?
Yeah, so I'm very proud of most of this trip, but this is where you guys might slap my hand a little bit and say, Kelsey, we're getting there, but like we still have some work to do. So we did fly Southwest. We are loyal Southwest people. There's tons of flights, lots of direct flights here in Nashville. And we do have 2 companion passes, but at this time we had one. I believe my husband, I had referred him to the Southwest Business Performance Card, which I really love. You can get a ton of points from that. And he had earned it just after this trip. Because when I was looking back at everything, I was like, I mean, we're so used to 2 companion passes that I was like, why did we buy 4 flights?
Yeah.
Because we have a family of 5, and normally we're buying 3 flights right now, which is amazing. But at this time, which is probably why, this probably spurred me to refer him to get him the companion pass too. We had to buy 4 Southwest flights out there. 1 was free, but they were pricey. We do have a direct to Phoenix, and I can talk a little bit more in a second about why I chose to go in and out of Phoenix. But they were $619 each. So we paid $619 times 4 people. 1 was free, so your face.
Wait, I'm sorry.
So we saved
$619 cash?
Yes. Round trip. No,
Okay.
round trip. Round
Still.
trip, guys.
It's been
So,
so,
yeah, okay,
long.
deep breaths,
It's been
deep
so long
breaths.
since I've paid cash.
I can't remember
for
last
a
time I paid
flight. I
cash
know,
for a
because we
flight.
mainly do points that maybe I am
But you
out of
guys,
touch.
for all your listeners who have learned so much from you guys on Points and Miles, over on my podcast, we like Points and Miles, but it's more about the trip, the destination, the story, the place.
Yeah.
And so I feel like over there, people would be like, oh yeah, round trip flight over summer to Grand Canyon, whatever. But anyways, that's the only part where you guys are going to be disappointed in me, okay?
No, listen, we could
Did you-
never be disappointed in you.
Never, ever.
I'm sure you
Let's say
paid
I
that
saved
cash price
$619
with
Yeah,
a
you
good
did.
multiplier. Yes, you
With the
did by using the companion pass. You did great.
Did you look at the points price for that and you just decided the cash was the better value? Like what made you
we
choose
fly
cash?
Southwest so much with 5 people that we are constantly depleting those points. We're earning them, depleting them. So it's like, I mean, even for dance competitions and stuff, we are using them all the time. And so sometimes we have them and sometimes we don't. And it just takes me looking back to go, was this one on points or not? So it's just like, and like I said, 2 years ago, we were paying every single trip cash. And that's like how we rolled, and we were going to travel anyways. So now it feels like there's like a bonus of like really leaning into this points and miles and being super strategic about it. But before we were just like blowing through our money. So anyways.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned those dance competitions, because shout out to all the parents who have their kids in some kind of travel something. I have a good friend who has her daughter in gymnastics competitions that they are now traveling to Colorado, to South Carolina. They're traveling all over for these. And I messaged her the other day because, you know, if someone comes to me and asks for points and miles wisdom, I will share it. But I'm not just going around to all my friends, you know, unsolicited advice. But for her, I was like, girl, we got to teach you how to do a Southwest Companion Pass, because I see y'all are really flying all over the place. And it's just such a money saver.
And we are, and we fly to Orlando, we fly to Dallas. Like and I have 2 dancers, so I have to get 2 of them there. So it's a whole thing. And like that, I think this is what spurred on that companion pass. Because, for example, we recently went to Boise, Idaho, and you know, from Nashville, we're far from these places. And so no matter how I spun it, and again, I am handcuffed to Southwest, so I probably should. I'm wondering now that Southwest is more expensive, if it is worth it. My husband seems to think companion passes for how much we travel is the way to go for our family. But like to get to Boise, it was $1,000 a person, no matter what way. And we were like going to see my sister. So that ended up, we only had to buy 3 of those flights instead of 5. But like, that's where the companion pass saves us tons of money, but we're still not flying for free by any means.
Yeah. For sure. It might be worth looking into what routes, what places the dance competitions have regularly. Could you benefit from an AA card or a city card that transfers to AA? Or
I definitely probably could.
There's also the transfer. I mean, you have a Chase card. You could be looking at Delta flights via Virgin Atlantic or Delta flights via Flying Blue. You already have the currency necessary to make those happen. So there are other ways, but you know, that's getting real nerdy.
Yeah. And there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah,
it's true.
I get it.
So
this
true.
is our longtime hyper focus. So I think we're up like answering DMs for free at 10 o'clock at night when people want help going places, and I'm like, we should probably be charging people money for this. I'm so tired.
All right, let's talk about once you got there. So you flew Southwest to Phoenix. Renting a car is a big expense, and when you're going from Phoenix to the Grand Canyon and around, you do need to rent a car. There's not going to be public transportation, really. I mean, maybe there's some kind of tour bus situation, but generally you're going to rent a car. So did you guys use one of the travel portals to book? Like, say, I know now you have the Capital One Venture X, so you can rent through their travel portal and get a high multiplier. Did you do any little tricks like that?
So I feel like you guys are going to be a little bit proud of me for this one, but still it was cash. So let's just brace ourselves that it was cash. But you definitely, in all these national park trips, have to have a car. There's really no other way around it. And again, we are a family of 5, so we need a large car. We need room for luggage. So I love a minivan on a trip like this. As long as it's not going to be icy and we don't need 4-wheel drive, let's just go for the minivan. It fits everybody, fits tons of luggage. So I used Turo, which I love. And this was before I did the Capital One Venture X, which, you know, I'm slowly dipping my toe in things, getting more familiar with things. Now I have a travel eraser. I didn't before. I also had a $300 credit on that card, which helped me in Paris. I was like, ooh, that's fun. Just minus $300 on my hotel. Sweet.
Love that.
Isn't it so nice how easy it is to use? I love that credit.
It intimidated me at first, and I didn't understand the travel eraser stuff. But once I just like did it, I'm like, oh, this is actually really easy and pretty awesome. But anyways, we rented a Turo minivan direct through Turo. I'm not sure how we snagged this for so cheap, and I feel like this is a good reminder for people to always price out Turo when you're looking for rental cars. But we ended up getting a Kia Sedona, which is kind of funny because we're like in Arizona, and we got a Kia Sedona
in Sedona
for 5 days $40 a day, $204 for a rental car. And I feel like if you go to Hertz and stuff, you're so close to the $300 to $500 mark for rental cars. So $204 with taxes and fees, everything included. It was $286 for 5 days in a nice, new, comfortable, safe minivan. And I do believe, it's hard to remember now because we also rent Turos a lot, but I do believe there was a 15 times like something with Rakuten or something, because I remember getting a huge bump back. And so there was it was Rakuten, or I'm also trying to get used to the Capital One shopping portal, which is really stressing me out because I get so many emails and pop-ups and I don't exactly get, am I getting $50 back? That's a whole nother sidebar we can talk about. But I definitely got something back on this Turo. I think it was Rakuten.
Yeah, I've seen it on Rakuten. I've seen it on Capital One. I also see a lot Chase offers for Turo. So those have to be activated. You have to go into your Chase account. You got to look at the offers, and then you have to do the little plus sign. But I've seen like 25% back, or
actually, now that you say that, I think it was Chase or Amex, and it was one of the offers where you add it. And then it was like a chunk of money back or a percent back. So I remember going, oh, I just got like $50 from Turo. So it was one of the offers.
Yeah.
Which those are super awesome too, but it's like a coupon book. It's kind of hard to keep up with. You got to keep checking it.
Yeah.
So everybody, unless.
Okay. We're going to do an ad right now.
Great.
It's time for our ad of the day. Okay, guys, we're taking a quick break from the episode because we have to tell you about one of the major updates in the points and miles world, and that's to the app Card Pointers. We love Card Pointers, and they just introduced AI integration. It completely changes how you manage your credit cards.
Instead of trying to remember which card to use, which offers you added, whether you're about to miss a credit, you can literally ask it. Guys, this is a game changer. You can say something like, what card should I use right now? Do I have any credits expiring soon? And it will answer based on your actual cards, your offers, your credits. It's completely personalized. It's not generic.
Yeah, what we love is that it takes all the mental load off. You don't have to keep everything straight in your head or dig through multiple apps. It's just handled. It really does feel like having a personal assistant for your points and miles strategy. So we've been using Card Pointers for a while, but this new integration takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah, I would give anything to have a personal assistant. So this is an absolute dream. And if you want to try it out, you can get 30% off using the link in our show notes or cardpointers.com/wonderlandonpoint. And now back to the episode. Okay, you guys, we just played you a Card Pointers ad, but truly, we love Card Pointers. We're obsessed. Make sure you go get into that because that is the kind of thing that can keep you super organized with all of these coupon book style things, which are highly, highly annoying. It'll just add them for you, and then you can search in one place. Anyways, you don't need to hear an ad 2 times in a row.
I know, but I do need that, clearly.
You sure do. Kelsey, use our code. We get you the best price.
Okay.
It's 30% off of full price, or if there's a sale going on, we have the lowest price available, just saying.
Okay, so let's talk about the Grand Canyon, because I think this was kind of your first stop on your trip. Like from the airport, you guys headed towards the Grand Canyon. What were your favorite activities there, other than just seeing it and being in awe of the splendor of it all? Did you guys do any of the hiking? Give us the lowdown on that.
So we knew our plan was to fly in and out of Phoenix. And that was because I know you can also do Vegas. I know you can fly into one and out of the other based on your road trip plan. I knew that I wanted to land in Phoenix and drive straight north to the Grand Canyon because it's kind of easy. And I knew I wanted to end there because Scottsdale has so many lovely, cool, bougie hotels, including the Grand Hyatt that I had enough points for. And I wanted to end this adventurous trip with a relaxing moment and be able to look forward to that. So that was kind of why we did in and out of Phoenix. We landed and went straight north. Now, I had planned in my little itinerary that we were going to stop for groceries and lunch in Phoenix, and I had already mapped out the closest big Safeway or whatever it was. The tricky thing is that it did get hot in the afternoons, and I can't remember if I brought or bought a soft-sided cooler out there. It's hard for me to remember now, but I remember trying not to buy too many cold things, but buy, granola, snack mix, granola bars, cereal cups, things that like wouldn't melt in the car if we were parked at the Grand Canyon for like 4 hours. So we head north, and it's a 3.5-hour drive, which is kind of hard when you're like, okay, kids, let's get on a plane for 3 hours, then let's drive 3.5 hours north. So I did find out that there's a cool stop on your way up about halfway called Bearizona. It's one of those like wildlife parks. Now, I was a little nervous because some of these can be sad and like,
Right.
what are they
Animal
doing to these animals?
abuse-y.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this one felt really nice. It's a drivable loop. You can also get out, not like in the drivable loop, but there's an area you can get out, stretch your legs. They have bathrooms, food. They're doing little zoo type shows where they might have like a falcon on their arm, and you can walk around to other exhibits there. So it's a great place to stretch your legs, get out. But the drivable loop was the coolest part because they literally have bears, wolves, deer, all different types of animals. And so you drive this like mile loop and they're just walking around. Like they might be in the middle of the road. We really liked it. And to see like brown bears, and I think there was one grizzly bear maybe like up that close, was pretty crazy and worth kind of like getting into that like out west national park vibe.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if for kids like elementary age kids, junior high kids, this was like a fun stop to just be like, let's take a detour here for a second.
I do like that. And I like the idea that they're all living like open air. We're not talking about enclosures, cages. You know, they're just living on the land. They just probably don't realize that there's a barrier and they're also being taken care of. So that I like that. That sounds much better than a lot of the animal tourism that you can do.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's the best, but it wasn't the worst.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So we hit up Arizona and then we raced up to get to our IHG hotel before trying to catch sunset at the Grand Canyon, which all worked out. So we stayed at the Holiday Inn Express Grand Canyon, which I had been recommended to stay at because it is an IHG. It's a way to use points up there. There's tons of lodging up there. A lot of it is like associated with the park, which I don't think unless you just used an eraser, you could really use points for. But this one was great. It was fine. It was a Holiday Inn. It was clean. They had great free breakfast. I know you guys love that.
We sure do.
I did pay, and tell me if this is bad. I was like, this seems too high, but I think I'd been in Hyatt mode for so long. I did transfer 59,000 points for one night at this hotel, but it was summer IHG Grand Canyon. Does that seem too high?
That's pretty in line for IHG prices, I think. IHG, Hilton, Marriott, all way higher than Hyatt because the award chart is dynamic and based on the cash rate.
Which is about to start with Hyatt, right?
I know, it's so sad. This might be a good use of people's IHG free night, though. My parents hold an IHG card simply because it gives you a free night every year.
Yeah, definitely something to look into because it is up there and it's easy. I think it was free parking. We had a 2-queen room, and this was one where I was a little like, I could only book 4 people because I've had people email me and go, how did you stay as a family of 5 at the Grand Canyon? I'm like, we just did. So I booked, and I know, Maria Ellen, you say to just call and add the child to the reservation. I just left it as 4 and just told everyone to stay in the car.
Listen, when it is a Holiday Inn Express in the United States, then we're just all showing up. I mean, I feel like they do not care how many people are in that room.
I really don't think they do.
If it's a place that is super strict about it, then I email them, I follow the rules. But in the U.S., generally, at these random budget hotels, I mean, come on.
Yeah. And I'm like not packing 6 wild teenagers in there. It was
Not
our
having a
family of
party.
5. Yeah, it was the 8-year-old that wasn't really on the reservation. But anyways, we brought a one of those camping mats that you blow up with your foot. And it's lovely. It packs down so small. It goes into a suitcase.
Ooh.
And we just blew it up. And I brought a twin sheet that, my kids take to camp and stuff. And, you just grab an extra blanket, grab a pillow, and we used that throughout the whole trip, and that was awesome for our littlest.
That sounds
We
like the
might
perfect
need a link
step
for
up.
that.
I got a
we need
link.
a link for
I
that
got a link.
because I use a cot for my preschooler that she's still fitting on really good at 4 years old. But at some point, she's going to get over the size of this toddler cot. And that sounds like a really great, because I'll still have a family of 5. So when she's, 6, 7, 8, I love that mat. Sounds perfect.
It's awesome because it packs up real small. It pumps up with your foot. It's thick enough and kind of hard, and it's technically a camping mattress. It has a built-in pillow that just kind of inflates with it. My kids don't love that. They flip it so that they can just use their own pillow, and that's closer to their feet. But even my 10-year-old son, sometimes he prefers to just like have his own space. He would ask to sleep on it. So it's good. I mean, an adult can sleep on it. It's like I think I get the narrow, like it's narrower than a twin. It's called like a single or something, but it's been fabulous, like a game changer.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyways, we got all, we snuck in, got our stuff in there, and then we raced over to the Grand Canyon. And it is like probably a 7-minute drive, 10-minute drive. There's so much around there. And then you're driving into the park. We did utilize the 4th grade National Park Pass, which was really fun. I'm sure your listeners have heard about that a million times, but basically any 4th grader for the entire calendar year, so it still worked even though we were like entering summer after his 4th grade year, you can get into national parks for free. You can get your whole family in. It was real cute. We had the little print. It's so easy. You just like fill something out on a computer and print it.
Yeah,
but
I felt like my son excited. Yeah, to be the star. Like I'm going to get everybody into the national park.
Yeah, like I paid for this, guys. It's on me.
It's on me this time.
Yeah, but it was pretty fun. So we use that. We go in, and you guys, Marilyn, I hate to tell you that it was the most beautiful weather. It was sunset, and when the sun is setting at one of these national parks, it just intensifies the colors. I have a video of it. I'm like almost getting chills talking about it. We walked up and we almost couldn't breathe. I think I started crying. Wow. It was so beautiful, and what everybody says, like you won't believe it until you see it, and you can't get a picture of it, and you can't get a video as much as we tried. It is the most overwhelming, amazing thing. And like the rest of the trip, I'm just like, but how was it formed? And it's like tectonic plates and water. I'm like, no, it's got to be more than that. This is too cool. And I'm a mountain girl at heart. I love mountains. I love canyons. I like rock, more than the beach. I was overwhelmed with how amazing it was. And what was so cool is because I would highly recommend if people can like fly into Phoenix in the morning and make their way up, if you can get there at sunset, it's kind of quiet, at least in May.
Yes.
All the tour buses have left. All the, big groups of people have gone. And there were just people kind of like milling about. It was quiet. We went down a little hike, not to hike, but just to like stretch our legs and be like, we're here. And I kid you not, around the corner came this like gorgeous mountain goat. And we like locked eyes. And I was just like, is that for real? And I kind of looked at him like, you're safe, right? And they walk on the edge of the path like a human never could, because they're a mountain goat. But all the kids were like, oh my gosh, it was the most magical like arrival ever. I was like, I never want to leave. And unfortunately, we were only there one night, but I could have stayed longer.
Wow. This is the most glowing recommendation of the Grand Canyon I have ever heard. I mean, everybody kind of offhandedly is like, yeah, the Grand Canyon, it's great. Like now I want to go more than I ever have before.
I mean, I am not just exaggerating here. I loved it so much. And this was our first national park. So when I told my sister this, who lives in Idaho, she was like, oh, girl, you're just getting started. And so maybe it was just my first overwhelm. And I know they're all amazing. We have plans to go to other ones, but I was just particularly very blown away. And maybe it was the sunset moment. I don't know. But another fun thing in my research, I had made reservations at the Arizona Steakhouse, which is right there. It's right on the rim. It actually has big picture windows that overlook the canyon. It's a little pricey because, it's a steakhouse and it's at the Grand Canyon. But I was like, we're on vacation and we're like milking this sunset for what it's worth. You can go in and whatever. They say it's a little bit nicer. You're at a national park. People are in hiking boots and khakis pants, like not nice khaki pants, like, cargo hiking pants.
Yeah.
We were still in our travel clothes, and we had stopped, I think, for some sort of big snack. So we just shared stuff. I think we got like 3 steaks between the 5 of us, a couple baked potatoes, and just kind of shared it all. And just to like sit there and be able to look over and be like, the Grand Canyon's right there. There are seats against the windows. It was a really cool spot to just like have that first dinner and be like, we're here. So I highly recommend the Arizona Steakhouse.
Love it. Love it. I'm currently building a whole itinerary in my head right now.
Guess what? I have a downloadable PDF for you.
Of course you do. We'll tag that in the show notes for people. Amazing.
But so just to cover up on the Grand Canyon, we went back and got a great sleep, got up, had our free breakfast at the hotel. It was great, well organized, a good free breakfast with eggs and all that kind of stuff. And then we headed back for like a full Grand Canyon day. I think we put our luggage in our car because we knew we were heading out later. So we were there for sunset one night and then a full day the next day. I think that was enough. Like you said, for some people, it's a walk up and see it. There a lot of tour groups were walking up and just seeing it and walking back to their bus. But we wanted to enjoy it a little bit more. So we first went to the visitor center on this day. And the Grand Canyon has like, I don't know, 20 or 30 parking lots. It is huge. So you can map yourself on Google Maps like to the visitor center and then you'll get in that parking lot. And you can drive 10 minutes, 30 minutes around to other areas. But they have a good bus system, which we utilized. So we started at the visitor center, got the kids their little junior ranger books, and it was kind of cute. I think because the Grand Canyon's so big, normally you're supposed to complete it and come back to get your little badge. The lady was like, here are the badges. Just give them to them later. Like, you don't have to try to come back here. And I was like, I actually appreciate that. Thank you. But the kids, even the teenager, it was like really cute, got really into it. And we're like sitting down and sketching and like answering questions. So it's a good thing to utilize if you're there because it just kind of keeps them busy and interested, little scavenger hunts and whatnot. So then we walked out to Mather Point, which is a big point that juts out and it's got fencing and everything. But again, it was the most overwhelming, beautiful views. You feel like you can't even really take it all in. It doesn't all register in your mind because it just keeps going and going and it's deeper. And so Mather Point was a really nice lookout point. And then we took the bus, which just asked ChatGPT because there was like a blue line, a red line. We ended up getting on the blue line to go about 10 minutes down to where we were the night before. So the night before we were at a different area where the Arizona Steakhouse is and where Bright Angel Trail is. Bright Angel is one of the most popular hikes, very popular family-friendly hike. Disclaimer, I would not bring a child here that's under 7 years old. I mean, I am not an anxious person by any means, and I had true heart palpitations and anxiety moments hiking with my 7-year-old at the time because, I mean, you really can go over the edge. It's quite terrifying. Yeah, sorry. So Bright Angel was awesome. You can turn around whenever you want. And remember, it's harder going back up. Mm-hmm. So my husband and older two hiked down. There's kind of a popular turnaround spot that has water, maybe a bathroom. It's about a mile down, I think. Maybe a mile and a half. I think it's a mile and a half down. It's a 3-mile hike and it's steep. Gorgeous views, amazing. Tons of people are doing it. Well, my little one and I hiked down about 3/4 of a mile, maybe even a little less, because I kept saying, once we turn around, it's going to be harder. Mm-hmm. And I kept making her walk on the inside. Even if like people were passing, I'm like, sorry, like she's on the inside. Because like on the outside, it really was a little stress inducing. So I just want people to know that I had someone DM me and say, could I bring my 2- and 3-year-old here? And I said, no. And you could. I saw people there with little kids, but I would never.
Them, maybe.
Yeah. Never. So we loved the hike. Bright Angel was great. Don't go too far down if you feel like you're going to have trouble getting back up. The other couple things right at the top of Bright Angel is a little studio. It just kind of says like studio. It looks like maybe a little mini art gallery or something or a little bookshop. Go in. There's 2 of these. One's called the Kolb, Kolb studio. Another one, I can't remember the name. There's 2 of them. The people that like started the whole Grand Canyon thing, found it. It was a family that like lived there and built these little cottages and they were artists. And you can see their old cameras and their easels. And they had, of course, I mean, I guess if you found this, you would never leave. The lookouts are the most insane. It's like a little house overlooking the Grand Canyon and they have a patio that you can go out on. Like you could have a party like overlooking the Grand Canyon. Don't miss these little houses you can go into that are just like mind-blowing that people built them and lived there.
I love little things like that. That's just such a fun touch, and I've never even heard it before.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that I'm like literally just like the Grand Canyon's amazing, but we had lunch and then we head out at the coolest hotel lodge called El Tovar, Tovar. I would love to stay here. It was like old and lodgy and kind of bougie, but like, like wood and the big like taxidermy up on the ceilings. And they have a dining room that is real cool and fancy. If you can't tell, I love like a food moment. Like they have like French onion soup and creamy lemon spring pea pasta and like their homemade chicken salad they've been making for years. Again, you have to have a reservation here, but it was packed with people and families, and it was really cool to see. And this hotel is right on the rim. So if you stayed there, you could like look into the Grand Canyon. I was just amazed at this cool old hotel. So definitely another place to consider like having a meal at, or at least walking into the lobby and checking out.
I was just trying to see. El Tovar is in the Capital One portal, just in case anybody
good
else
to
wanted
know.
So like coming up in April, very expensive, $800 a night or 80,000 miles a night, but you may be able to look out, see if there's something cheaper. If it's in Capital One, you might be able to find it other portals.
That's good to know. I love that.
Check it out. I mean, obviously we don't always say use a portal, but when you describe a place like that and it sounds that amazing, it might be something to look into.
Yes.
Places that are in natural beauty like that, that's worth splurging to me. That's worth using more points for because it is such a unique, incredible experience. And hearing you talk about the Grand Canyon and how some people are like, oh, whatever. I pray that none of us lose that awe, that sense of, wow, the world is so big and this is so incredible. I mean, that's why traveling is so important for stretching our hearts and our minds. I just pray that none of us lose that sense of wonder and exploration. And I'm so thrilled that you guys got to experience that and really feel that.
Yeah, it really felt magical and it felt so fun to bring my kids there because I told them, I said, I'm seeing this for the first time at 42 years old and you guys are seeing it at 13, 10, and 8. Like, aren't I such an awesome mom? Isn't he going to pat me on the back? No, I'm kidding. But just like experiencing that with them because I love travel so much and because I'm like raising them to love travel really felt like a magical moment to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is where our name came from. When we say Wonderland, guys, it's not actually a Disney reference. We're not talking about some like really crazy, twisted place. We're talking about like, this is Wonderland.
Yes.
Like,
I've never thought Disney when I hear your podcast name, just so you know. I've never thought that, but I would like to tell you one fun fact about your podcast. Your cover art is the colors of like a sunset when you're in a plane.
Yes.
And every time I see that out of plane window, I think, there's the Wonderland on Points podcast cover art.
Okay, that's amazing. People have before said like Wonderland, like Alice in Wonderland. I'm like, well, technically, same word, different overall meaning and experience. So, all right, let's try to segue a little bit because we do want to actually get to the Grand Hyatt Scottsdale before we hit an hour, maybe. Maybe we need to make this a two-parter. I don't know. Next, you went to Antelope Canyon. And so in between Grand Canyon and Antelope Canyon, you stopped somewhere. Tell us a little bit about that stop.
Yes. So what's so fun about this area of the country is there's all these little pit stops you can make that are totally free and kind of mind-blowing. So if you're going to go on this trip, and I highly recommend driving from the Grand Canyon to Page, Arizona, because Antelope Canyon was equally as mind-blowing in a completely different way. And if you're all the way there, I say don't miss it. But on the way, you can stop in an area called Marble Canyon. So just remember, you're going to want to stop at Marble Canyon. And you guys, there's not really like markers. You're going to put this in your phone and then you're going to lose service. So kind of like have a plan or maybe write down the roads because you lose service all the time. The time's changing in between all these places. You're like, what time is it? What day is it? But we made our way towards Marble Canyon because we wanted to see the cliff dwellers and balanced rock.
Ooh.
And so you kind of just start driving in this direction and you legitimately feel like you're on Mars. Everything is red. The rocks are red. You're like, are we still on planet Earth? What is happening? And so then you find your way to cliff dwellers and you literally just kind of pull off the side of the road in like a dust storm and you park your car on Mars. And you're like the only one there. And you're like, am I in the right place? But then you see these little homes that were built by people that lived near the cliffs, cliff dwellers. And they're still standing, and they're built out of these red rocks, and you can go in them. The kids had a ball, like pretending playing house and running around. It's like this wide open kind of rock clay area, and there's these homes with still windows built in them. Now, I think someone is helping to keep them up and restore them, but the cliff dwellers was super cool to see. And right there was also this like kind of like wonder called Balanced Rock. I've got a picture of it on my Instagram where there's one big rock and then one that's balanced on top of it where when you look at it, you think that should fall. That should have fallen over. And we took a funny picture with the kids looking like they're like holding it up. But it's one of those just like weird things where like nobody knows when it started, how it happened, how it got there. Kind of looks not natural, but it is. And it's just a fun thing to see. Free stop on your way. Might as well get out and stretch your legs.
Heck yes.
Real quick, everybody, we want to remind you that Yahoo Travel is our presenting sponsor. The Why Wonder newsletter, which is written by Joanna and I twice a week. We've been having so much fun with it. We hope that you are enjoying it. We are building it for budget-friendly travelers who care about traveling further for less out of pocket using points and miles. You know that is our whole thing. We want everyday folks to be able to travel more.
Yeah, and we have a spot for everyone on this newsletter. We're going to be pumping out some beginner-friendly stuff, some more high-level stuff, and everything in between. So no matter where you are on your points journey, this is the newsletter for you. We want it to have the same fun vibe as the podcast. It is written in our original voices. It will also include some of the latest developments from Yahoo Travel, and those are things that Wonderland on Points listeners can really benefit from.
So sign up today at travel.yahoo.com, and you can also find the link in our show notes.
Back to the episode.
So then we went on our way to Page, Arizona. And this was probably, well, other than the Grand Hyatt, obviously, this was one of my most surprising favorite hotels of the trip, which was the Hyatt Place Page/Lake Powell. There's a lot. Okay, you get to Page and it's like there's nothing there. Everybody's there to see Antelope Canyon. There's not much else there except for all the hotels you've ever heard of, like Hyatt's, Marriott's, Courtyard by Marriott, all those hotels. The Hyatt Place seemed newer. It had a really cute restaurant and bar called the Prickly Pear, like restaurant and bar, with an outside patio with lounge furniture that had fire pits, blankets that overlooked this like desert with cactuses. It was real cute.
Okay, Hyatt Place.
Yes, the rooms, I could book my family of 5 into this, no problem. 2 queen beds with almost like a mini sectional, like a pull-out couch, but had an extra side. So it was like a little sectional couch. So much space. Nice big open bathroom. I had booked the cheapest rate on points, and sometimes you don't really get a choice of room when you're looking at the points, which is just the standard family suite maybe or whatever. I emailed right before and just said, I'm coming. My family's so excited to be there. If there's any way to upgrade to the desert view, because I currently had the parking lot view, which is the back of the hotel. They upgraded us to the desert view so then we could see that beautiful plain. I mean, it's a desert, but still, it's better than a parking lot. They had a pool. It was a surprisingly great little stopover for Page, Arizona.
That's amazing. Do you remember what it cost you per night? Not that it's going to be the same shortly.
No, this was the trip where my mind was blown by Hyatt, and I kept telling my husband, this is $0. This is $0.
Yes.
So this hotel, which loved $15K a night, and we stayed 2 nights. So $30K points for a fabulous hotel in Page, Arizona.
Amazing.
Yeah. So really the main reason you go to Page is to see Antelope Canyon. Actually, one of my friends recently told me they went to Page on their Grand Canyon trip and didn't see Antelope Canyon. And I was like, why would you ever go there? I was so confused.
What are you doing?
Horseshoe Bend is there and is much cheaper, if not almost free. I think you pay to park. So Antelope Canyon can get a little pricey. So maybe that was the reason. But you're going to want to hit up Horseshoe Bend and Antelope Canyon if you're in Page, Arizona. The weird thing is the Navajo Nation owns a lot of these things and controls them. And it's kind of their like, it's a revenue stream for them. The Navajo Nation does not adhere to time change. So in parts of the state, it's 2 p.m. and you drive over the line into Navajo Nation, Horseshoe Bend, your phone changes to 1 p.m. Same with Antelope Canyon. So the amount of times I called these places, because you have like a start time, I'm like, are we going by, it's very confusing what time it is and what time your tour is. Horseshoe Bend first, it's easy. You pull off, you park. I can't remember how much it is to park. You go through a little thing and it's, like you said, like a revenue stream for them. It's a short walk. It's a 5-minute hike, flat walk out to see it. It's cool. It's a horseshoe of water. Some photos, it looks amazing. On our day, it was a little like murky and green. And I was like, okay, like I saw it. If you needed to skip something, I would say you could skip this. It's also again, not many railings. There are people up on those rocks taking Instagram pictures. And I was like, one flip of the foot and you are in the Horseshoe Bend. I don't get it.
Terrifying.
The scary part is that does happen. I mean, I would hate to know how many times a year. I mean, it's not even that it just happens once every couple years. I think you hear, unfortunately, tragic stories like that too often.
Yeah. So I was very on top of my kids. Of course, my 10-year-old son's bebopping around trying to be funny. And I'm like, not funny, get back. But so we saw it. It was cool. On to Antelope Canyon, which was the star of the show. So there's only 2 companies that you can even book through to see this. Again, it has to be the people who run the company have to have Navajo blood in them. So Ken's Tour is one of them. And then there's another one I can't remember the name of. I joined one of the Grand Canyon Facebook groups, which was very helpful for this trip to figure this all out. So definitely join the biggest Grand Canyon Facebook group. Ken's Tours is one of the top ones. This is a little pricey. We booked way in advance, and you do have to book in advance. Some people go, I wanted to see it and it was all sold out. You have to pick a time. So I thought, I don't want it to be too hot. I want to get up and go. We've spent our night in Page, Arizona. I want a 10 a.m. Thought that'd be great. Booked 10 a.m. It was $73 a person, so $366 for this excursion. And it's probably 1.5 hours. It's not a whole day thing. So it's a little pricey, but it is so worth it. I have the pictures framed in my kitchen, blown up and huge because they were so amazing. So we all get a lot of emails when we plan trips, confirmations, tons. I really am pretty on top of things with travel. Apparently, I didn't read all the fine print of Ken's tour, which is you have to arrive 30 minutes before your tour time of 10 a.m. I did not see that. And so we pull into the parking lot at about 9:55. I think I'm doing great with kids. We got there before. We did hit up Horseshoe Bend first. We shouldn't have done that. We should have just gone straight there. 9:55. Well, now we're getting our stuff out of the car. We walk up to the window and they go, you missed your tour. And I go, it's probably 9:59 at this point. I go, no, it's at 10 a.m. You have to be here 30 minutes before. You missed it. And I am like my heart sinks. I've paid $336 to do this. We're all the way here for this. Thankfully, they were nice. They weren't really very friendly in that moment. They were just kind of read the email. And they did say, okay, we'll get you on the 12:30. So it was fine. We still got to do it. But this is just a heads up for anybody. Get there 30 minutes early because they're going to start calling your tour times 10 minutes early. I was very stressed in the moment. My husband's like, we're on the next tour. Calm down. We're good. We're good. I'm like,
This sounds like my experience with Chatsworth House in England. Don't be late, guys.
Don't be late.
Or read the emails.
Yeah,
Make sure
read all
you're
the
going
emails.
to the right entrance.
Another funny thing about Antelope that you're surely not. You cannot bring anything into Antelope Canyon except a cell phone and 1 bottle of water. You cannot bring an Insta360. You cannot bring a backpack. You cannot bring a Camelback that's flat on your back with water in it. Nothing, even if you have a child. So we had Awala water bottles, those metal ones, which were actually surprisingly fine, and a phone. We did not really dress properly and plan properly for this. If I were to do it again, kind of like you in Universal, Joanna, I would wear bike shorts or leggings with 2 pockets. And I would have as many girls in my family that could do that. And I would put a plastic water bottle in one side and my phone in the other because we couldn't put we were carrying these awalas and you're like on ladders and climbing down stuff. And so then it's like clanking. It was real cumbersome. So just know you can't bring anything. You also can't take a video. You cannot take a video, which as a content creator was the most painful.
So interesting.
So, yeah, let me explain this real quick. There's upper and lower Antelope Canyon. Upper is more mainstream, easier. Like if you had an elderly person with you or a super small kid, you'd want to do upper. It's a little bit more breathable. It's kind of like, they're both very popular, but I would say maybe it's the more popular touristy one. And I believe you might be able to video on that one, but I'm not sure. Lower is more dramatic, tighter squeezes, ladders, not too hard. My 7-year-old did completely fine and loved it, almost like a playground ladder. But you're
probably
descending
do better
down.
than us. The 7-year-old's probably
seriously.
better than the 40-year-old.
Seriously. And some tight squeezes. Like if you're claustrophobic, it could be an issue, but nothing that's like crazy, but it's tight squeezes. And if you hit it at the right time, there's some cool sunlight beams that come down through the canyon. But anyways, so we went and got some lunch. I calmed down. We went back. And they divide you into different groups. You're with like maybe 10 people and there's like 10 of these 10-person groups and they just guide you through. You walk up to it and it looks like you're just in a desert. You're like, where's the canyon? It's just a little sliver in the earth that you can hardly even, you couldn't fall into it. But you climb down the ladder and then you're almost like under it. And it's these wild orange wavy walls. I guess water rushed through it. Again, water's doing this all apparently. And it smoothed it out so much. And that's why you can't bring any backpack or anything. They don't want you to rub against it and like it to deteriorate over time. I think the video thing is like a respect thing from what I read. They want to respect the canyon. They don't want it to become too, I don't know, maybe touristy or whatever. But we did take a lot of pictures. It was amazing. It was so cool to see. And the best part, I don't know if all the tour groups do it, but at Ken's, the guides take amazing photos for you. They say, give me your phone. They change your settings. They do like a panoramic up and down. Yeah, you're like, it's like, oh, I think we tipped them. I can't remember, but I'm like, you're working for your tip and it's worth the price because they take the most amazing photos.
Okay, well, that makes me feel a little bit better because I never take pictures. It's always videos. I think it would be painful. I did look it up a little. It says there's a lot of reasons for it. They don't want it to be people to be bottlenecked in these small areas, but also it says there's an element of like cultural respect and the space has some sacredness to it for the Navajo people. So that's why. But still sounds absolutely incredible. What an adventure. Definitely worth the money.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like you can't compare them, Grand Canyon to Antelope. They're so different. But if you're all the way out there, I would say definitely try to hit up both.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's get to Grand Hyatt Scottsdale, right? So they recently underwent a massive, massive renovation, guys, $115 million, which is crazy. It is a category 6 right now. When you went, how many points was it for that great time slot in May? And keep in mind, guys, we still have a little bit of time where you can book stuff at the current rates. So this might be one.
This is crazy because it was 21,000 points a night. So I got it. We stayed 2 nights. I got it for 42,000 points a night, which like isn't that much more than the Hyatt place.
Not at all. That's why that's why the award chart has always been so incredible.
Yeah. So this was the star of the show for sure. And we planned it that way. We wanted to relax. We wanted to just chill and put our feet up. We'd been go, 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 adventure, 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 adventure. And when you leave Page, you can choose 2 different routes. You can either stop in Flagstaff or you can stop in Sedona. Both are lovely places to stop. Most people choose Sedona because it is like obviously an amazing place to stop. We had family in Flagstaff. We stopped in Flagstaff, also adorable mountain town. We got a really cute lunch, some ice cream. Both places are great. I knew we wouldn't have time to really do Sedona, so I didn't want to like go out of the way to stop there when it'd be like get a coffee and get back in the car. But both of those can be considered for like making your way back down. But when we pulled up, it was lovely. It's beautiful. There's cactuses everywhere. They offered a welcome drink when you walked in. The just check-in was so lovely. They've got a big grand view of kind of the grounds. It's a great hotel. I think this one allowed us to book our family of 5, but there was only 2 queen beds. So the blow-up bed came in very helpful here. The great thing about our room is that it was on the corner. We didn't pay any extra for this. It was very large. Like it had like a large hallway when you walked around. Like my son slept in the hallway on that blow-up bed. It was just like very spacious. And then we had a big balcony that had a table and 4 chairs that overlooked all the pools and the desert and the golf course. So one night my kids just had dinner up there like on the patio. It was lovely. But the Grand Hyatt is great. It kind of meets everybody's needs. There's a water slide. There's tons of little pools. It almost looks like Tetris there. It's kind of funny, like little rectangular and L-shaped pools. There is an adult-only pool that looked fabulous that I didn't get to enjoy, but it's there. And this is May. I guess it's Memorial Day weekend, so I don't know if they always have this, but they had like poolside entertainment. They had backpack making with markers and cute little backpacks. They had henna tattoos. They had water slide races where, my son loved that. They're just like timing you to go down the water slide. But they had a DJ at one point and all the kids are dancing on these little platforms out in the pool. There's some water features going. I mean, we like parked it on pool chairs and like ordered poolside quesadillas and we're like, we are chilling now.
It sounds like an amazing resort. I mean, a full-on, it's not all-inclusive, but it seems like a total resort vibe. I mean, a 10-pool complex. And one of the pools, this is such a unique feature, they have a sand bottom beach, right? I mean, that's not something that you think of in the middle of Arizona.
No, and my daughter loved that. She was like wading in. There's lots of little kids right there in that sand bottom. That's really fun. And then at one point I looked over and my teen and my 10-year-old and my little one are playing volleyball in the sand. And it's kind of like, what is this magical moment where my kids are playing together? They actually played together a lot at this resort. And I always like try to sneak those videos because it's like, that's another reason I love to travel is because we get all that intentional family time and they actually play together. And it's like so adorable to see. There's also like a climbing wall, a little putting green. There's pickleball. My husband and son went off to play pickleball at one point. There's a lot to do. Just make sure you look at all the offerings so that you can take advantage of them. There's a bunch of restaurants. They're definitely priced like a Scottsdale hotel, so just know that. But there is a grab-and-go market that had like great breakfast sandwiches. One night, the kids were just kind of done. They'd had a great trip, but they just kind of wanted to chill. And we DoorDashed them Raising Cane's chicken fingers, and they ate out on that patio. And my husband and I went down to the sushi restaurant and had a little sushi date. We could see our balcony, But there's just a lot that it has to offer, especially if you can get it on points. It's almost a no-brainer. It's like this feels illegal.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is one of the ones you're definitely going to want to grab because you paid $21,000, you said. And so now on the new chart, it could go all the way as high as 40, which is really sad. We don't know what's going to be categorized as a lowest, low, moderate, upper, or top in terms of dates. No idea. We're going to all learn that together. It's double. So
it's sad. It's so sad.
It really is.
But
they had a
the
good
crazy
thing going.
thing is it's still cheaper
I
than
know.
the other ones.
Well, yeah, think about the 50,000 points night that you paid for the Holiday Inn Express or whatever, and then you're like, oh.
So it's still a good deal. It's just the points aren't going to go as far.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard because these points are harder to earn, I think, than IHG points, Hilton points, Marriott points. So that hopefully they're going to start providing us with better sign-up bonuses, guys, better welcome offers. Let's talk a little. Besides the door dashing, did you get any food off property? Did you hit up grocery stores or anything? Any way to cut the food costs?
I mean, I think all of our trips, I always laugh. We start strong with like these groceries and then we just kind of like carry them with us. So like, it's like by the end, I still have like a few grocery bags. It's like, okay, there's 3 granola bars, 2 oranges, and I'm just like carrying these groceries around the state. So I'm sure we still had a variety of snacks and breakfasty things. We did not go off property for food. We kind of literally just parked it. I had family in Arizona and they all came over. It was like, aunts and uncles and cousins and people I hadn't seen in forever, like grown college boys that are my cousin's kids. They all came and we went to a big lunch on property at their main restaurant. That's where you can get like the breakfast in the morning, but you're going to pay for it, unless you've got some fancy free breakfast certificate or whatever. But we had a great lunch. It was like Mexican inspired with family, which was super sweet. And then aside from that and that sushi dinner I went to with my husband, we just ordered poolside. We would just get whatever they had to offer on the little menu there. And then I do believe at that takeout market, you could get a full pizza. You could also get some sushi and like some sandwiches. So don't sleep on that market because you could like actually feed your family. I remember one quirky thing is service stops like promptly at 5 at the pool. And you're like, everybody's still there. It's gorgeous in Arizona. I'm like, I think you could make a lot of money if you just kept this going till like 10, but probably a staffing thing or something. So we would go up to that market and bring food back down to the pool. So you could get a pizza for your family, bring it back down to the pool. So that market has a lot to offer.
Good tip. Good tip. We like the money saving tips on the food because that's the thing about these. When you're there for $0, it can be a little easy to blow your budget because you're like, well, I didn't pay to be here, so it's probably fine if I'm spending $200 a day in food. I lose all my inhibitions on vacation, so I have to be really regimented with my plan.
Yeah. I'm the person that's like, whatever, another glass of wine by the pool, please.
We're on vacation.
Yes.
Oh, well, Kelsey, we're wrapping up here now. Thank you so much for coming back, for sharing this incredible adventure with us. It sounds like an absolute, memories of a lifetime for your family. Incredible trip. Now that you are deep in the points and miles game, now that you know what you're doing, girl, where are points taking you next? I'm excited to hear.
I'm so excited about this one. In May, we're headed to the Hyatt Ziva Cap Cana in Dominican Republic, all inclusive.
Nice.
The only all-inclusive we've ever done is like the Disney cruise. We haven't done a true, just like all-inclusive with our kids. I have, separately, but the kids are so pumped to like just chill and do like beachside games and go order a virgin pina colada whenever they want.
On repeat.
Yeah, what we did for this one, because I had heard a tip, you don't want to use points at an all-inclusive for kids because they're giving you an adult rate, which includes like alcohol and stuff. So I booked my husband and I in 2 people to a family of 5, junior suite. And then I emailed the resort and asked what the cash rate was for the kids. And I can't remember exactly right now, but they gave me a separate rate where I would pay per night per kid. And you don't want to like use your points for that because you're going to use way too many in that scenario.
Yeah, you'll have to come back and tell us about this because we've done all-inclusives in Mexico, but the Dominican is new and I would like to hear all about it. So, all right, before we let you go, remind everybody where they can find you, the podcast, the Instagrams, all the things.
Yes. So on Instagram, I'm just my name, Kelsey_Graves. And I share a lot of our travels and a lot of travel tips over there. And then the podcast is called the Trip Tales Podcast. You can find it anywhere you listen. And it's just every week a guest comes on and shares their trip from start to finish, where they stayed, what they ate, what they did, what they loved, and more importantly, sometimes what they didn't love and what they would do differently next time.
Yep. It's a fantastic podcast, guys. I will link everything in the show notes so you can find it. Kelsey, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, ladies. I'm happy to come anytime. I love chatting with you.
Open invitation. All right, guys, we will see you here next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. We hope you learned something new and feel inspired to plan your next trip.
Remember, we're travelers sharing our experiences, not financial advisors, so always do your own research and make informed decisions.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you never miss a Points and Miles tip.
We'll see you next time on Wonderland on Points.